Oh no, I can't sleep. I wouldn't have this problem if I stopped checking my phone at night. But if I don't check all my social media, how will I know all my friends are still alive? I have all those bills coming up. I should check my bank account to make sure it's not empty. But I'm also too afraid to look. Okay, what if we just got lost in thought and slowly drifted off to sleep? Okay, I'm gonna imagine myself in a happy relationship. Why, yes, Anna Taylor Joy, I think we should adopt all those puppies. They'll love running around on all that land we own. And that just made me really sad. Fuck. Okay, if we go to sleep right now, we will still get 45 minutes of sleep before we have to be up. And I can hear the birds outside. Alright, let's just do this show. When my friends asked me to stop saying yeah, he said it was unhealthy for me. Asking me to stop saying yeah is like asking Yo-Yo Ma to stop playing the cello. Yeah. Okay, so I think I may be biased here, but a recurring theme I see amongst younger leftists is how many of us don't get along with our parents. Generally, our parents tend to be more conservative than we are. They told us, you'll get more conservative as you get older, which wasn't true. They just gained wealth and property and eventually stopped challenging the status quo, which, my fellow millennials, did not happen for us. I am firmly in the eat the rich camp. Let's talk about crappy parents for a moment. My parents are both Vietnamese immigrants. My mom is a hairstylist and my dad does manual labor. I haven't spoken to either of them in 3 years, and both of them have no idea that I'm trans. Neither of them were especially conservative, but they did come from a certain place and a certain time. There were a lot of gendered expectations for me, and they were much harder on me than they were my sister. I had a lot of mental health problems, and they didn't really understand the concept of mental health too well. I cried a ton growing up, and my dad would always tell me to man up. Joke's on you, Dad. My parents had a wildly unstable marriage. One of my earliest memories was them fighting. I remember being a little kid and throwing car keys at my dad to get him to stop yelling at my mom. And, they would use my sister and I as pawns in their weird passive-aggressive fights with one another. They may not have been politically conservative, but they had conservative ways of thinking, by which I mean they could be very illogical, not very empathetic, they could have very circular reasoning that was often unsubstantiated. And the net effect of their parenting is I'm an anxious mess now. I have very little self-esteem. I've lost years of my life to depression. When I look back on my life, I see how much of it is just really sad, but in many other ways, I also see how it's kind of hilarious. It's sad that my parents' marriage didn't work out, but it is kind of hilarious that one time I walked in on my dad having an affair, and I didn't know what to do, so I just did the finger guns at him, and then I walked away. Like, what are you supposed to say? Like, hey Dad, I like the way you manhandle that chick. Can you drop me off at the mall later? It's sad that I lost all of my early 20s to depression. It really is. But it is kind of hilarious that in that time span, instead of finishing my degree or going on dates or starting my career, I instead just got really, really good at Halo Reach. It's sad that I spent so long in denial about my gender identity. But it's kind of hilarious that my parents don't know that I'm a girl now. And a cat. A cat girl, if you will. My parents never really saw the funny side of life, and that to me is what's really sad. Mom, Dad, if you're watching, I do truly hope that you're happy with life. But you're also fucking assholes. So tonight's guest is the lovely Ozita from the channel Mom's a Narcissist. I found her on the BreadTube subreddit, and she was kind enough to hop on as a guest on my show. I am still painfully new at interviewing, which you'll be able to see for yourself in a moment, but everyone has to start somewhere. Well, that said, Oz was super easy to talk to, she was very kind, and you should definitely check out her channel. I know a lot of trans people and lefties can have difficult parents, and it's not a topic that LeftTube tends to touch so much. One more thing, I actually forgot to hit the record button, so the interview is going to start in a very random spot, and I'm sorry for that. Her first video is about Claudia Conway and Claudia's mom, the former advisor to President Trump. Please check out her channel. I think it's going to do really well.
Apart from like that channel, really, like we have a micro sanctuary, so we have 2 rescue gerbils, 8 rescue dogs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. That's basically my life is our dogs. So
yeah,
that's about it.
Okay, cool. Okay, can you walk me through what prompted you to start your channel?
Well, for a long time, I have been really wanting to sort of get off my chest and articulate what happened to me at home and how it's affected me now, because it really has. Like that, social media is like a smokescreen, right? So you'll see that YouTube video and, you know, I look polished on it and I look fine, really. I look quite energetic, but that really isn't like at all how I am in my day-to-day life at all. So I don't know, I just wanted to give people an inside look at what it's like surviving narcissistic abuse, because a lot of YouTube, it's mostly people that are like psychologists, isn't it? Talking about how to spot gaslighting or how to spot a narcissist. I'm like, there's not many people that are actually talking about their lived experiences with it. Right, I'd really like to do that. And I just want to get it off my chest. And I think this is a good way to do it. So that's what prompted me.
Okay. Did that experience with Narcissist kind of form like kind of push you towards leftism in any way?
I think I'm not really. I don't know. I don't really. I was reading this question and I was thinking, I don't know how to answer that. I think people that have been through trauma, just naturally lean that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I don't really know how to articulate how I feel about that.
Okay. Well, for me, I felt like there was definitely this sense of like the sense of fairness that I needed to kind of see in the world that I didn't really get growing up with kind of my experiences with narcissistic parents. So I just thought it might have been along similar lines for you.
Yeah, of course. It's just being progressive and just always willing to do the work and to listen and to want to do better. I don't really identify as being left the way that the political system is set up now, right and left, like, because I think they're both as bad as each other. I just identify with being consistent anti-oppression for both humans and non-humans. That's the way I kind of see. Yeah, I don't know how that makes sense, how I'm sort of articulating what I mean here. Does it make sense?
I think I get
it. That's how I view myself: consistent anti-oppression, intersectional. And I guess that is being leftist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely not being on the right.
What's the next video in store for your channel?
So the next video is just going to be part 2 about Claudia, because I couldn't fit it all into one video. I mean, even a second video is not going to really cover it all, but there's just going to be part 2 about Claudia and Kellyanne. But the next one, I want to talk about, someone wrote a comment underneath one of the videos, and I totally agree with what she's saying. She's saying that she feels like her abuser should be put in prison. And I hear a lot of people that have been through narcissistic abuse or abuse in general saying, you know, they should be put in prison. And I wanted to do a video about what that would look like, because the way that the prison system is set up at the moment, that isn't what I would want, because it's not focused on rehabilitation. It's just focused on adding more trauma and not breaking the cycle. Nobody wins in that situation. So you've got the victim of the abuse, and then we put the abuser in prison, and then they just come out 1,000 times more traumatized and have learned nothing and have ended up probably 1,000 times angrier than what they went in. So I just kind of wanted to talk about how I would like that to look if we were to put these abusers away. I think they should be put away, and I do think they should be removed from society, but they should be rehabilitated. I don't think they should be put in prison the way it's set up now.
Okay, so that's the.
That's what the video after Claudia is going to be about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's in a sense the kind of justice you were looking for. I know for me, I've internalized a lot of kind of anger and resentment, and you know, it isn't necessarily productive in a way that would change anyone for the better.
Mate, I have so much rage. I'm sounding like really sort of balanced right now, but I get that. I have so much rage that is so not productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate my parents, and I haven't seen or spoken to them for 10 years. But with that being said, would I want them in a prison where all sorts of things could be happening to them? No, not really. It doesn't bring me any satisfaction to think that this, that, and the other is happening to them, and that they're going to come out 1,000 times worse. So, but yeah, I do hate them, and I do imagine like really bad things happening to my parents. That's natural.
I get that. It's only been 3 years since I stopped talking to mine, but yeah, complete no contact. Did you find yourself identifying with Claudia a lot, Lynn? Or?
So obviously, one thing I said that was not correct in that video, I said I just didn't articulate. I've said this a few times. I didn't articulate what I meant properly. I identify a lot of how her mum talks to her in that video. But in all honesty, like, there's no way for me to know if our situations are that similar. Just judging off those videos, how her mum talks to her, of course. I think my mum was 100 times worse with her shouting. My mum was like demonic when she would shout and scream. And my mum would threaten to kill me a lot. That was like literally get up in my face and like threaten to like kill me or smash my teeth out of my face. She'd say things like that. So yeah, I identified with the way and the whole thing when her mum said, "You're lucky I'm pro-life." My mum used to say like, "I should have got an abortion. I should have terminated you," that sort of thing. So yeah, that stuff is identical, but I don't know about the rest of her life, if the abuse she's suffering is identical or not. But did you identify with anything from that video?
You know, definitely a sense of, I remember feeling helpless a lot of the time. But my situation, as far as I can tell, isn't as bad as Claudia's. I think she's in a pretty bad place. But,
were your parents, do you think, more covert then rather than malignant? Because it's that from looking at those videos, Kellyanne does come across to me as a malignant narcissist. They're just very, very domineering, a lot of screaming, a lot of.
Yeah, they could be. They definitely express their displeasure in different ways, and you know, it was definitely a hard time for me. What I wanted to ask was what got you through those hard times?
I honestly, like, nothing got me through. The other option was just to not be around. So, and I had just enough optimism to just keep pushing through until I found a way out. I guess that's what kept me going, is just thinking I will find a way out of this one day, and I'm just going to hold on to that. But what I didn't think about or even think is that when I left and got away, that's when all the trauma started coming out, and then that's when I realized how unbelievably traumatized and damaged I was, and how that was actually hurting other people around me. It's just a ripple effect, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I guess that's what kept me going, was just thinking there's got to be something better than this, and I don't want to just not be here and all I ever experienced was that abuse. So, what about you?
Well, I hear what you're saying about the trauma piece. It definitely took me a lot of therapy and time away before I could kind of get a real sense for how deep that rabbit hole went.
I'll post the entire interview as its own video later. And that concludes episode 2 of Radio Free Catgirl. If you liked it, leave a comment, hit like, remember to hit subscribe. All of this will help me out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. I'm also on Twitter at RadioFreeCats, so feel free to follow me there. If there's any other topics you want me to touch on, or if you're a content creator and you also want to be on my show, get in touch with me and I'll try my best to get back to you. That's it for now. Bye-bye.